Hey everyone, Angelica Suarez with Ange Suarez Creative here. I am a graphic designer and illustrator. Today I want to share with you a way to create some inexpensive holiday greetings that not only won't cost you a fortune, but they'll give you a little creative spin to them as well. They'll be a little interactive, which will be a fun surprise for your recipients. So the first thing I would recommend you do is find out which online printer or print shop you'd like to use and then download one of their templates off their website. Now, I have never used the one that I ordered from this year, overnightprints.com, but I did hear some other designers that liked the price of them and the quality that they got for the price. So I've heard they're not exactly the highest quality, but they're not the worst either. So I am going to report back next week and let you know what the quality was like. But I also mentioned several other printers that I do have experience with on my blog, angesuarez.com/blog. So be sure to check those out too. So the first thing I did was I downloaded their template off of their website at overnightprints.com and imported it into Adobe Illustrator. They do have some other templates available, including Word, PDF, JPEG, I believe, and a PSD file for Photoshop. So if you're not comfortable with Illustrator, you don't have to use Illustrator, but I do use it almost every day. So this tutorial is in Illustrator, and I'm using the CC version 17.0. It's the one right before the October update if you're using Creative Cloud. So what I've done is taken my tablet and I've just handwritten a script here that says Merry Christmas, and I imported a photo of my girls for the front of the card, and that's literally all I'm doing for the front. So once I have I've deleted already the template layers in my layers panel over here, and you'll want to make sure that you only have your artwork in here, because anything that's left over, there's a chance that it might print, and you don't want their template printing in your card. So I am going to just save this. And I'm going to choose the preset high quality print. Save as PDF. And that's it for the front file. I'm going to close out of here, and I'm going to close out of here. The next thing I want to show you is the back of the postcard. Now this one, I did leave the template file in here so you could see. The back will show you the USPS guidelines for a postcard, which is super important. I knew I wanted to create a 4x6 postcard just because the postage is a little bit less than sending a larger postcard, which is about the same as a first class mail piece. So I downloaded their guidelines, and here it's showing me don't put anything here because of the stamp, and don't add anything here because they need to barcode it. On the side over here, I've included our return address. You don't necessarily have to do that unless you're doing direct mail. And I put our sentiment, and then I'm going to take this off for a second. And then I added our signatures. Now we used a tablet to draw our signatures. You could also import a black and white scan of your signatures and then use the image trace tool in Illustrator to make them smaller and turn them into vector format. But I recommend if you do have a tablet, go ahead and use one, and it makes it really easy to resize these and get them down to the size that you need. The thing I didn't like about the postcard was obviously you don't have much room to write anything. So what I did was I thought, I could probably use a QR code so that when they receive the postcard, all they have to do is scan it, and then they'll be taken to a page on my website where they can read more about our year and see more photos. This works really well. You don't have to have your own full-blown website. You can start a blog, a free blog at blogspot.com or blogger.com or typepad.com, any of those free online blog systems, and I'll list those in my post as well over at my website, so you can see the different options that you have to create a permalink, and then that's what we're going to use to create our QR code. So I'm just going to jump over to my Firefox really quick and show you where I went to create this QR code. I am over at goqr.me, and I'm going to choose from the type URL, and I am going to create my permalink. And I'm going to create my permalink here And as you can see, as I was typing it in, the live preview changed. So once you have your live preview, you can go ahead and test it with your phone to see if that's what it brings up and make sure that everything looks right. And then once you're set with your website address, you're going to click download. And it's going to ask you, do you want to change the color, the background? I definitely recommend sticking with something high contrast. It'll be the best thing for the recipient's phone to recognize, but you could go ahead and play with these colors if you wanted to. Because I'm working in Illustrator, I'm going to save it as an EPS file. You could alternately do a PNG or a JPEG or an SVG file. So once I've downloaded that, it'll pop up into my Illustrator. And this is pretty small. I did mine at a 1/2 inch and I printed it out on my printer and tested it and it still worked. So I wouldn't go too much smaller just because I'm not sure if the camera would recognize it unless you were zoomed in pretty close and still had a crisp capture on your smartphone. But you could, I have mine at 1/2 inch and I printed it out at 100% just to make sure that it worked, and it did. So I'm going to save my file, and before I save it, actually make sure that your text is all outlined, because when you go to upload these, you don't want your online printer to have any trouble at all reading your fonts. And the way that you do that, generally what I do just to make sure I capture everything, is do a Command or Control A, type. And if I had any type that wasn't outlined, it would give me the option to click Create Outlines. Since all of my type is outlined, it's not giving me that option, but this is what you'd want to check before you save this file. Make sure you delete your template file. You don't want that accidentally printing. And then I'm going to click File, Save As, and I'm naming this the back of the postcard. I'm going to click Replace because it looks like I've saved this before, and Save PDF, and that's it. So now that I'm ready with my front and the back of my postcard, I'm going to head over to my Overnight Prints website, and I'm going to go over to overnightprints.com/postcards, upload design, choose my size, and then I'm going to add my image files. And I've just clicked on both of these files using Command or Control to select multiple, and I'm going to click Open. It might take a second for your images to upload, but once they do, make sure that they are in the correct spaces. So the front is actually the back here, and the back is actually the front here. I'm going to remove that. I don't have to re-upload anything. I can just drag and drop into those spots, and then you can zoom in to make sure that your images are within the safe area, and mine are, so I'm happy with that. And this is where you'd want to look on the website that you're going to be using beforehand. It'll tell you their file format specifications. It'll give you any information as far as the color space that it needs you to work in. So in this one it says CMYK, which I did, and then the file types that you need to use, the file size, and etc. So make sure that you really look into that and double check all of your information so that you don't have an unsuccessful print, because it really will make a big difference. Now I'm going to click Continue. And that's it. They're going to proof the image to me really quickly, and I'm just going to look it over and make sure there's nothing that's cut off or anything that looks weird. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose all of my stock and my coding options, and that's it. So I hope this gave you some ideas of what you can try this holiday season, especially if you're a last minute person like me. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Have a great day.